Good morning, friends. It's Terrific Tuesday. Good morning, Cindy. Welcome in. Hope you're having a great week so far. It's a little chilly here in Alabama. I'll tell you, it's 60 degrees this morning. It's starting to feel like sweater weather, guys. It really is. Hey, Molly. Good morning. Becky, welcome in. Good morning. Karina is here. Kimberly, thank you so much for the heart. I appreciate you. See if I can raise this up a little bit. 60 degrees too for Leah. Susan, good morning. Mimi, good morning. How are you? So, anyhow, with it being starting to feel a little bit like fallish around here, I have been a beanie making fool, let me tell you. Hey, Kelly, good morning. Welcome. And my latest trip down the rabbit hole this weekend was with wheat stitch beanies. Isn't that pretty? I love the texture on that. Hey, Kayla, good morning. 58 in Tennessee with Miss Kelly. This is the wheat stitch. And that is what I have been obsessed with. Cindy, good morning. Welcome in. Jen is here. Karen, good morning. Karen found some big twist over at Michael's, y'all. Rachel, good morning. I don't remember what this yarn is called, but it's a blossom cake. It's a Karen blossom cake. It's nice and fuzzy. Really like it. So anyhow, that is what we're going to be doing today, guys. We're going to be making a wheat stitch beanie. And I've got one in the works. Now, this morning I'm using Scarfie yarn from Lion Brand. This is the colorway pink and silver. Look at that. So delicate. I love pink and gray together. Isn't it pretty? Really, really pretty. Let's see here. Kathleen says 52 in northern New Jersey. Rachel's using the same yarn. Well, how about that? Great minds, right? Sandy, good morning. Veronica's here. Gen X girl, good morning. So y'all want to see what it's working up like? I know you do. How about that? My tablet is too close to me. I'm going to have to take a minute and move it. I'm getting a crick in my neck already. That's what she's looking like, friends. Isn't that pretty? So this is a pattern by Briana K. Hey, little wise owl. Good morning. Welcome in. Briana K is, I think, famous for doing wheat stitch, and this is her beanie pattern. Now, when she does 4-weight yarn, and the yarn I'm using this morning is a 5-weight. So I've had to kind of modify some stuff, and I'll take you guys through what I've changed up on this. It's just a little bit less chains when we first started off. And I had to make it because my hook size is bigger and whatnot. That's why we had to modify it. But anyhow, it's going to be really pretty. Good morning, coffee, Gen X. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I'm using Karen's Simply Soft Colorway Pagoda Wheat Stitch Beanie. Nice, nice. All right, guys, one second. Before I get started here crocheting, I got to try to move my tablet back a little bit. I can't see. Oops. Don't fall over. Don't fall over, Mr. Tablet. Hey, Caroline. Good morning. I saw you're doing a bunch of canning this weekend, Caroline. All your stuff looked beautiful. Okay, let me scooch up in my chair. Okay, keyboard problems this morning. That's every day for me. The technical difficulties of it all. Okay, so the way that I'm doing this, guys, this is a 4-row repeat. It looks way more complicated than it is. I don't know why I've been so scared of doing this pattern, but I absolutely have. And I've held myself back. And now I'm kicking myself because I could have been making this stitch for a long time. And it is so pretty. It's just, yeah, Little Wise Owl said 5-weight hats are comfy and cozy, right? It feels cozy. I love it. Okay, so 4-row repeat. If we look at it on the side right here, this is where I started out. Okay, so this is where I did my starting chain. And I did a starting chain, then I worked a single crochet into that starting chain. Okay, single crochet all the way down. Then I came back the other direction and I did a single crochet in the back loop only. Okay, so that is 2 rows. Single crochet for the first, back loop only for the second. Easy peasy, right? Then we have to continue with our single crochets for the brim. So for example, if we flip this up, this is going to be the brim of my beanie. These are all single crochets through here. Then we have our wheat stitch. And then at the very tippy top, I do single crochets. So that way, when you add your top closure, this will sit more flat and not get all bulked up here at the very beginning. Does that make sense? At the very top of your hat, it'll be more like uniform and conformed. Okay, so for this one, I did 9 single crochets. Now, when you do your wheat stitch, the wheat stitch is basically a modified puff stitch and it takes 2 single crochets. So this row that you're seeing right here is that modified puff stitch, and we're going to get into that. I did 10 of my little wheats, and then up at the top right here, I do a total of 5 single crochets for the taper in at my top. I like it with 5. So, how I came up with the size overall is I just go online and I get one of these. My printer chopped it off, y'all. But I just put in crochet hat sizes, okay, and it gives you the whole list. Now, this is going to be for donation. So, you can see here adult, large, medium. I kind of try to shoot for a large, okay? This right here, hat height, is how tall it's going to be from the edge of your bottom, if you have a cuff, up to the tippy top. So from here to here, I try to get it 9 inches, okay? Because that is a pretty common size for adult large, adult extra large. Sometimes they work out to be a little shorter where it's more of an 8.5 inch. Yes, I'm on YouTube this morning, guys, as well. So I try to shoot for 9 inches. Then I add to my 9 inches however much I want this brim to be. Okay, so if we go back to our little one I started here, we want 9 inches from the very tippy top. Okay, let me try to get my tape measure on here. 9 inches. So there's 9 inches. This is the very tip of my beanie. Down, okay, puts it to about right there. And then I'm going to have this much to flip up for the cuff. Okay. So that for me, I try to shoot for like, I don't know, an extra 2 inches for my brim. So that makes it 11 inches. Does that make sense to everybody? How I come up with the 11 inches. So it's 9 from the very tippy top of my beanie to the brim, and then I get an extra 2 inches for the fold over. Okay. So for this particular one, when I chained, it worked out to be somebody help me with some math here. Y'all are mathematicians. I did 9 chains right here for the brim. Okay. Then I did 10 wheat stitches. Each wheat stitch takes 2 chains. So 10 times 2 is 20 plus 9. We're at 29. Then at the very tippy top, I wanted 5 single crochets for my taper in. So it's 29 plus 5. Uh, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. 34 is what I did. And then was it 34? Or is that 33? 34. Thank you. Then I added 1 for my turning chain. Okay. So that is how I came up with my count. So where I'm at on the beanie right now is I'm working on the single crochet rows. So for the repeat, we're going to do 2 wheats, then we're going to follow with 2 single crochet rows. The first one I do just a regular single crochet, and then the additional one I do in the back loop. The back loop is what's giving it this line of texture right here. This pattern, T2804, is by Briana K. Briana K on YouTube. Okay, Briana K. It's called the Wheat Stitch Beanie. Now, I'm using a size K hook this morning because I'm using a 5-weight yarn. So the yarn that we're using is Scarfie yarn, Lion Brands. Now, here's the thing, guys. When you first do this pattern, I highly recommend stick with your 4-weight, follow Briana's pattern, okay? Don't get crazy like me where you start to branch out with the 5-weight yarn. This is a 5-weight yarn, so I had to make modifications. This is the colorway pink and silver, but definitely. Oh, Crafty Cajun made these all weekend. Nice, nice. Yeah, I did too. I'm obsessed with them and I can't stop. My next thing I want to do is I want to do a scarf that matches the hat. So that is going to be coming soon. I got to figure it all out first. So I'm using a 5 bulky weight and I'm using a K 10.5 6.5 millimeter hook for this yarn. Karina, I love this yarn. I love Lion Brand Scarfie. I've used it before. The other day when they had the sale for Labor Day at Lion Brand, I bought 11 different colors. I know that seems crazy, but I'm going to make a lot of beanies and scarves for donation. So that's what I'm going to be working on for a while here. I also over the weekend made the trio of pumpkins, guys. I haven't taken any pictures of it really yet. Some of you guys know that I made that, but I put it on the Discord, kind of me working on it. So anyhow, I have that. I got that as well, and I really liked making the pumpkins. Okay, so I'm on my second row of the repeat here. So I did my single crochet. Now I'm working a single crochet in the back loop only. So when we look at our crochet stitches, the top of our stitch looks like a sideways V. See it right there? The loop that faces us, this one, is called the front loop. And the loop that is away from us is called the back loop. I am only working in the back loop only. Okay, so I'm only going under this one. I'm skipping over this one and I'm doing a single crochet. So under that back loop, grab up my loop, yarn over, pull through both. And I'm doing that the entire way down. Now, here's one thing I figured out very quickly into this pattern. When you are doing the part for the fold over cuff, the brim of your beanie, wow, Diesel's having a field day out there on the deck, it sounds like. I can hear him dragging around flower pots. Hey, Jennifer, good morning. Angela, good morning. Sorry, y'all, if I missed some of your comments this morning. I was doing a kind of a lot of stitch talk as we got set up here. So welcome in, friends. So glad to have each of you here this morning. Um, does my camera feel like it's up too high? Let me try to move this a little bit. Is that better? Okay, so what I've done is I've put a stitch marker to indicate where the little brim of my beanie is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In my ninth stitch, I'm putting a stitch marker. That's to keep me organized. Okay, so I'm going to pop out the stitch marker. Now, when I work on this cuff area, this 9 single crochets, if you get these stitches, your single crochets, too tight, what is going to happen is your stitches here are going to pull in and you're going to look like you have a mushroom on top with a little tiny stem. So make sure when you are doing your stitches here at the bottom, you need this to have some give and be kind of looser than you would normally make it. Okay, you don't want that to pull in on you, otherwise it's just gonna make it too tight when you flip up here to do the cuff of your beanie. Right, does everybody understand that? Okay, so let's do our 9 stitches. Again, these are in the back loop. So going into the back loop, grab up my loop. Again, I'm making this kind of intentionally bigger than I normally do. Now, when I work the other stitches that are single crochets through this part and the very top, I'm doing them like I would normally do them. So just make sure you're keeping these kind of loose. Yes, this pattern is by Briana K on YouTube. Briana K, Branak. She has great patterns. She does great tutorials, but that's who I'm following for this. Okay. So then when I get to the very last one here, Brianna likes to go in the back loop of this. I go under both loops. It's just a personal preference. When I get to my very last stitch, I go under both. Then I chain one and turn my work. Okay, now I'm going to work my single crochets all the way up the 9 stitches once again, working in the back loop. So into the first stitch here, there's 1, I got to count these, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I'm going to put back in my stitch marker here, and that is going to indicate where that little cuff is for our beanie. Okay. Now we're going to head back up here and we're going to start making these wheat stitches. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip the first stitch. Then I'm going to go into the second stitch with a single crochet. So skip one, into the next, single crochet. Little Wise Owl said, is there a specific donation drive you are making them for? I'm sending a lot of my hats to Launchpad up in Tennessee, but I want to find another place to send them. These particular sets, because they're so like delicate and pretty, kind of, I would love to find a women's shelter that I could send them to. I think, make a scarf that matches and then send the hat with the scarf. So I haven't done any research on that. If anyone has a recommendation for a women's shelter that needs hats and scarves, please DM me. Let me know if you have one that you like. But I'm feeling like these sets that I'm doing really should go to a woman's shelter. Hey, Mom. Good morning, Marsha. I am on YouTube this morning. Okay, so we skipped one. Now we're going to go back, and this is the stitch that I skipped right here. Okay, so this is our single crochet. We're going to go back and work in this stitch right here with a modified puff stitch. So I wrap my yarn around, bring it back, go into that stitch that I skipped, and pull up a loop. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. I'm going to do one more yarn over, again, right back down into that same stitch and grab up a loop. So now we have our starting loop here, 1, 2, 3, 4 from our yarn overs. Okay. I'm going to yarn over and pull through the first 4, and then I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2. And that completes our modified puff stitch. I'm going to keep repeating that up until we have a total of 10. So skip one, into the next, single crochet. Now we're going to go back with that modified puff into the one that I skipped, yarn over, right down in, grab up your loop. There's number 1. Pull this up so that it's the same height as your other stitches. Yarn over, go right back down in, grab up another one. Now we have 4. Here's our starting loop, 1, 2, 3, 4, or excuse me, 5. I'm going to yarn over, pull through the first 4, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2. Skip one, into the next, single crochet. Now it's time for that modified puff into the stitch that we skipped right here. Yarn over, right down in, grab up that loop, pull it up nice and tall. And number 2, yarn over, pull it up nice and tall. We're back to 5 loops. Yarn over, pull through the first 4. Yarn over, pull through 2. See how those are starting to form now? Easier than I would have imagined. Definitely easier than I would have imagined. Skip one, into the next, single crochet. I really don't know why I was so scared of making this pattern. Okay, so there we have our 4, yarn over, pull through the 4, and then yarn over, pull through the last 2. Skip one, into the next, single crochet, and repeat that modified puff. Skip one, single crochet in the next, yarn over, right down in. Here's number 2, yarn over. Now we've got our 5, yarn over, pull through 4, and yarn over, pull through 2. Skip one, into the next, single crochet, and puff. Now I have placed at the very top of my hat here, this is the top where I work those 5 singles, a stitch marker. That helps me know when I'm going to be stopping my puff stitches, okay? Skip one into the next, single crochet, and then do that modified puff. Skip one. Here we go with the modified puff. We've only got one more of these left to make after this one. Skip one into the next, single crochet, and modified puff. Not bad, right, guys? Oh, I know. My mom is coming next week, guys, and I was doing some organizing of my yarn because I had to get the Red Heart Super Saver sweets ready to go this weekend. And I banged up my finger on I don't know, something in there when I was cleaning. One should not be forced to clean. Okay, so there are our 10 puff stitches, modified puffs. So now we're back here to the very tippy top of our hat. Okay, so this where you see these little short single crochets, I like to do 5. Briana only does 4. So, that's a personal preference. Shoot, my tablet has frozen. Why does this keep doing this to me? Hang on, guys. I can't read the comments if I'm frozen. Let's see if I can get this thing to open back up. So as we're doing these last 5 stitches, I'm working in the back loop only for these single crochet. And I do these normal tension, okay? I don't make them big and exaggerated. I want these to be nice and tight and small stitches. Friends, I can't see the comments right now, so bear with me. I might have to restart my tablet here. Again, in the very last one, instead of going in the back loop, I go under both loops. I just feel like it makes it a little more secure with my single crochet. Then I chain 1 and I'm going to turn my work. Hang on, I got to try to restart this. I don't know why it does this to me. It's super annoying. I thought all my problems were going to be solved when I got the iPad that worked with my iPhone, you know? There we go. Okay, it's rebooting, guys. The mods will help answer the questions while I can't see them. But this morning we're working on a beanie. Okay, we're working on a beanie. This is called the Wheat Stitch Beanie. And the pattern is by Briana K. Okay, this chain of 1 does not count as anything. We're not going to include that in our count. Hang on. Profile. Okay. All right, I'm back. I can see the comments again, guys. Okay, here we go. So now we're going to work down the other side. So again, these first 5 stitches, I'm going to be doing the single crochet in the back loop only. So ignore this chain into the first stitch in the back loop, single crochet, and do this a total of 5 times. Now, again, if you're following Brianna's tutorial, you'll only have 4. I prefer it with 5. That one little extra makes a difference. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now again, I'm going to put in my stitch marker, and that will help me keep count as I'm continuing on. So now what we're going to do, the second row of wheat stitches is next. So we've only done one. See how each one has 2 sides to it? So this right here is this. Now we've got to come back and do this. We're going to repeat exactly the same thing we did before. So we're going to skip a stitch into the next, single crochet. And now this is the stitch that I skipped right here. See that guy? We're going to do our modified puff stitch in that stitch. So yarn over, go down through, grab up a loop, pull this up kind of tall, and then repeat that. Yarn over, right back down in. We're going to do this 2 times. So now we have 5 loops on our hook. We have our starting loop over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over. I'm going to pull this loop under the first 4, and then I'm going to yarn over and pull through the next 2. That is our modified puff stitch. Skip one into the next, single crochet. Now this is that stitch that we skipped. Once again, another modified puff. Yarn over, right under both loops. I am live on YouTube this morning, just a Gen X girl. Maybe go to my profile and then scroll down, and you'll have to scroll to see me. Yarn over and pull through all four. Yarn over, pull through two. Skip one into the next, single crochet. Hey Priscilla, good morning. Hey Leah, good morning. How are you? And then yarn over, right back down into that stitch that we skipped, pull up a loop, and yarn over, right back down in. Now we have 5. Yarn over, pull through 4 of the stitches, and then yarn over and pull through 2. See how that wheat is starting to come through now? So we're just adding the second side of this wheat stitch. Skip one into the next, single crochet. Hey Barbara, good morning, welcome in. Yarn over, we're going to go back into that stitch that we skipped with our modified puff. So pull up a loop kind of tall and hold, and then yarn over, right back down in. Okay, so now we have 5 loops. Yarn over, pull through all 4 loops, leaving this last one, and then yarn over and pull through 2. Leah said, I like the way that it locks in the puff, right? It does, isn't it? It's kind of cool how it does that. And it gives it the finished edge where you can see your stitches there. And I love how the single crochets give it that line of texture, right? So we're going to work on that next, and you guys will see how that forms up. But again, it's really, it's pretty easy. So skip one into the next, single crochet. Now we're going to go back and pick up that stitch that we missed with our modified puff. Yarn over, right down through, grab up a loop, pull it up kind of tall, holding, yarn over, right back down in, grab up another one. Now we have 5 loops. Yarn over, pull through the first 4. Then when you're down to 2, yarn over again and pull through 2. Skip one into the next, single crochet, and then pick up that stitch that you missed with your modified puff. Yarn over, right down in, grab up your loop, pull it up nice and tall, yarn over, and right back through. Tammy, I am going under both loops. Pam, good morning, welcome in. Yarn over, pull through 4, and then yarn over, pull through the last 2. Skip one into the next, single crochet. Now once again, this is that stitch that we skipped. I'm going under both these loops. I'm going all the way through my work. So I yarn over, go all the way through out the other side, and grab that loop up. So we have 3. Again, pull it up as tall as your other stitches, holding, and then yarn over, right back down in. So this is just a modified puff stitch, guys. We have 5 loops now. We're going to yarn over, pull this one under the first 4, and then yarn over and pull through those last 2. Skip one into the next. Kelly says, I really need to try this stitch. It's gorgeous and much easier than I thought. Honestly, I don't know why I have waited so long. I thought it was way more complicated than this also. I really did. And I held myself back. Gigi said, I learned this stitch last night. Awesome. Queen 530, welcome in. Good morning. Friends, we're working on a wheat stitch beanie this morning. This is a pattern by Briana K on YouTube. I will also say, guys, I'm not a huge fan of Facebook, but the Briana K community group on Facebook is fabulous. And people are showing a lot of pictures of their fall pumpkins that they're making, the different beanies that they're making. And Briana K just released a new pattern for her wheat stitch. This pattern, as you can see here, this goes up and down vertical, right? So here's my brim, here's my little top of my beanie, and the wheat stitches go up and down like this. Now, the new pattern that she just released is horizontal. It goes like landscape, like this. And she just released it for September, and a lot of people are starting to make those beanies. Sarah, our friend, I don't know if she's on this morning, but she shared one on the Discord that she made. But that is a brand new pattern by Briana K also. Yes, Shelly, I'm gonna make a scarf as well. But the scarf I'm gonna send to the fair is the one we made for Valentine's Day. Not one to go with this. But I did make a decision, guys, over the weekend. This hat right here, this blue hat, if you guys can see it, this one is what I'm going to put in the fair. I decided instead of doing a bucket hat with a sunflower, I'm going to do this for the county fair entry. This blue color, I can't remember what it's called. Rachel might know, but this is Caron, a Caron blossom cake is this blue yarn. And I totally don't remember what it's called. But the blossom cakes, guys, look fabulous for these beanies. If you want to make one with the blossom, if you have a blossom cake, dig it out, make yourself a beanie. Thank you, Blue Orchid. It's so pretty, this yarn, and it's soft. And the yarn I'm using right now is called Lion Brand Scarfie, and this is the colorway pink and silver. I'm using a K 10.5, 6.5 millimeter hook this morning. It is a 5 bulky weight, 78% acrylic, 22% wool. But this yarn, guys, if you have not experienced the Lion Brand Scarfie, it is really soft and cozy. I do love this. And the county fair scarf that I'm doing, entering, that one also is done in Scarfie, but it's done in red and white Scarfie. So, anyhow, that's the yarn I'm using today. So, let's resume. We're almost done with our wheat stitch here. We have 2 more to go. So, I'm going to skip one under both loops of the next one, single crochet. Now, I'm going to come back and pick up this one that I missed with our modified puff. Yarn over under both loops all the way through the work. Grab up your loop, pull her up nice and tall. And then we need one more. Yarn over, right back down into that same space. Pull up a loop. Now we have 5. Yarn over, pull through 4. The blue yarn is pinned there, Joni. And then yarn over, pull through 2. Skip 1 into the next, single crochet. And now once again, our last wheat stitch under both loops here of the one you skipped. Pull up that loop and then yarn over, right back down in, grab up another one. Now we have 5 loops on top, yarn over, pull this loop under the first 4, and then yarn over and pull through 2. So now we are done with our wheat stitch. Look how pretty that looks. Wow. George asks, when you go back to the one you skip, are you going into that or the one below? I'm actually going into it. So these are the 2 stitches right here. Let me see if I can put it at a different angle. Okay, these are the 2 stitches right here, the tops. So for the first one, I'm going under both loops here and I'm doing my single crochet. See these 2 loops right here? I'm going into that space. It kind of becomes very obvious as you're doing it. So I'm going right in this hole right here. This is the top of the 2 loops with that modified puff. Does that help? Okay. Got it. Okay, perfect. Perfect. HAT, good morning. All right, I'm going to pop out my stitch marker here. Now, this stitch marker I leave here as I'm working it. That helps me know when it's time to stop the wheat stitches and when it's time to start working our single crochets for the brim of our beanie. So in my case, I have 9 uh, chains here or 9 single crochets. I'm going to work into these stitches. I'm going to be working in the back loop only. So when you look at your crochet stitches, it looks like a sideways V. There's 2 loops here on top. Okay. This one that is facing me is called the front loop. This one that is away from me is called the back loop. For this pattern, we are working in the back loop only. So I'm going to skip this one and go into this one with my single crochet. So into our first stitch here, put my hook underneath, grab up a loop. Now, as you're working this brim part of your beanie, make sure you're making your single crochets fairly loose, okay? If they get too tight, your brim of your beanie is going to be wonky. It's going to be too tight and you're not going to like how it folds up. Okay? I learned that rather quickly. I had to frog a bunch. Amy said, "Good morning. I'm wheat stitching this morning too, making the pumpkin. I did the pumpkin trio, Amy, over the weekend, and it was a lot of fun. So that is why I wanted to make the wheat stitch, is to make the pumpkin trio, but I also wanted to be able to make the beanie as well. Now, my next mission is going to be doing a scarf. I really want to do a scarf. Okay, so here we go. That's stitch number 8. Now, the very last stitch here, Briana K goes under the back loop only. For mine, I really like my beanies to have it under both loops. So I rebel it up a little bit here and I go under both loops. I just feel like it gives it a little more stability on that brim as I get to this very last stitch. Now I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to turn my work. We're going to be working up this entire side now with a row of single crochets. So this is officially where the repeat begins, okay? Into the first stitch, this chain I made does not count. Into the first stitch, I'm going to be doing a single crochet in the back loop. And I'm going to work 9 of those for our brim. Again, keep these stitches very loose. Can you guys tell how I'm making them kind of bigger than I normally do for these 9 stitches? And as you're working this, guys, make sure you're kind of giving it a little stretch test also, okay? So what I mean by that, let's put in our 9th stitch here. Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to put in my stitch marker. That tells me where my brim area is. But as you're working this, make sure you're giving it a little stretch test, okay? Make sure as you pull this out that your single crochets here are becoming the same width as your wheat stitch lines that you did, okay? So make sure that you're really keeping that. Okay, so now we're going to work. Brianna K does a back loop single crochet here, and I don't like it in the back loop. So again, I'm kind of modifying this a little bit. So when I do my first stitch right here, I like doing just a single crochet. That way I only have one line of the back loop work here to give it that line of texture. So once I get done with my 9 brim stitches, okay, these 9, those are in the back loop. Then what I do is I'm going to go under both loops for these wheat stitches right here, and I'm going to do a single crochet. Now these stitches, I go back to doing my normal tightness of my single crochets. So I'm trying to make this area a little smaller. Whether or not Brianna does this or not, I'm not really sure, but this is what I figured like how I like it to kind of look. Okay, so this makes it a little tighter here through the wheat stitches, which really makes those pop out. And I'll continue all the way with kind of the smaller tension up the entire side here. So again, under both loops as I'm working these wheat stitches. Okay, now here we are back to the very tippy top of our beanie. Pop out my stitch marker. Hey, Linda, good morning. Welcome in. Jennifer, no worries. Glad you're here today. Amanda, good morning. Welcome, friend. So here we go. We're doing the last 5 stitches now as we work towards the top of your beanie. I'm going to resume at this point with working the back loop only. So skip the one that's closest to you, put your hook under the one that's away from you, and do your single crochets. And I'm going to do back loop only until I get to that very last stitch. The very last stitch, once again, I work it under both loops. Okay, chain 1. Now we're ready to turn our work. Okay, so here's what we're looking like now. Here's where that little edge is at. JT, good morning. Thank you for the coffee, sir. Appreciate that. Okay, so now as we do these 5 stitches, once again, this chain does not count. Go into the first stitch in the back loop, single crochet, and we're going to do 5 back loops, 5 back loops, single crochets as we work our way down. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the crown of my hat. Now, if you're following Briana K, you're only going to have 4 there. Okay, but I have 5. I had to change this pattern up. Hey, Cassie, I see you over there on YouTube, friend. I saw you. I saw your note about Australia this morning too. Good morning. Glad to have you here, or good afternoon, I should say. Let's see. How many rows to make your round of your beanie? So the way that I count mine is I actually count it by the wheat stitch groups. And Leslie, this pattern is by Briana K. So this is my modified wheat stitch, guys. So, and I actually modified this even more. Where's my pen at? So for this one, I did, you see, I see as I was working this, and then I did 5 for the top. So 9, that's 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So I did 34 plus 1 is 35. Okay, so I did for my starting chain, I'm using a 5 bulky weight, and I am using a K 10.5, which is a 6.5 millimeter hook. When Briana K does hers, she's using a 4 weight yarn. Okay, so her counts are different than what I'm doing this morning. I had to modify it. So for the brim, I did 9 single crochets. That's this part right here, are 9. Followed by 10 wheat stitches. Whenever you do your wheat stitch, they take 2 single crochets. Then I did 5 up here for the tippy top of our beanie. So when I add that up, I end up with 34 chains, and then I add 1 for a turning chain. So for this, if you're using a K and you want to make it like mine, I did 35 chains. Then for the wheat rows, so as we look at this, I didn't count them like 1, 2, 3, 4. I just counted how many of these wheat rows I did. I did 12. Okay, so on the blue hat, I have 12 of these sections to get it to the width that I want. Now, here's the thing. You can totally figure this out on your own. I just measure, okay? So for an adult medium, we need about 20 to 21 inches. Adult large, 21 to 22 inches. That's the hat circumference. Okay, so the circumference, if we look at our hat, that's what goes all the way around like this. All I do is I put my hat flat as I'm crocheting this. I get my tape measure. And right now I'm at 11 inches across. So that's like 22. It's going to be a little smaller if I go inside, but basically it's in the ballpark, right? That's how I measure and how I know how many of these rows to do. If I'm doing a teen or a medium, we need only like 10 inches across. That would be your 20-inch circumference. And if you're doing an extra large, you need 22 to 23. So then you're going to have more of these wheat rows. But as this gets bigger and bigger, all I do is fold it in half, because this is going to be the brim of our beanie, right? It's going to fold up like this. And then I just get my tape measure and I measure, and I just keep going until I get it as big as I want it. But for the blue hat that I did, that worked out to be 12 of these wheat stitch rows. Does that help answer that question? The chart, I just Googled, Gigi. I just put in, and I chopped, my printer chopped it off. I just put in crochet hat size guide. There's hundreds of these online. So just put in crochet hat size or beanie size, crochet beanie size chart, and there's a ton of these. And I'll just keep this next to my chair. Okay, so I'm making these for donation. If you're making this for yourself, guys, take your tape measure and put this around your head, Or what I do if I'm making one for myself, I just literally wrap the beanie around my head till I get it as big as my head. Nothing too serious or fancy, right? Okay, so we're going back down the other side now. We've done our 5 single crochets here at the top. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to work a single crochet in the back loop all the way down. So again, you have to kind of turn your work to the side. This is the little V stitch. See it here? And it has 2 loops. So if you slide your crochet hook under there, most of the time we work under both of those loops. In this case, I'm working under just the back loop. So this one that is closest to me, this is called the front loop. The one that is away from me is the back loop. So all I'm doing is I'm working a single crochet into that back loop all the way down. And I'm using normal tension in between my stitch markers for this wheat section. Okay. Once I get to the very bottom, the brim, that is when I'm going to make my single crochets looser. So that way the brim doesn't work out to be too tight. So here we go all the way down. Again, I'm just putting my hook under that back loop. So skip this one, slide under the back loop, and then pull up your loop and then yarn over and pull through both. How many people have made the Briana K pumpkins? I know we've had some people talking about it here this morning. I really enjoyed them. So I have my triple stack done. I had talked about for the county fair to enter a snowman amigurumi. And instead of doing the snowman, I have again made the executive decision. I'm actually going to do the pumpkin trio. And I have them all finished. The only thing I have to do is get the little floral picks that have like the fall leaves and that kind of stuff. Um, let's see here. The size hook I'm using for this yarn is size K 10.5. And I'm using Scarfie yarn this morning. This is a yarn by Lion Brand. It color changes on its own. It's really beautiful yarn. And this particular yarn calls for a this is a 5 bulky. It calls for a 6.5 millimeter. This is the colorway pink and silver. And I got this a couple for Labor Day. Lion Brand had a big sale, and I got a bunch of different colorways, but it is 78% acrylic, 22% wool. So if you are gifting it, excuse me, make sure whoever you're gifting it to does not have wool allergies. I got to get a drink here, guys. Cheers. Mad Red, thank you so much for the level up sparks. Level 9. Congratulations. Candy Joe is making pumpkins. They are so pretty. Um yeah, the blue yarn I did here, Amanda. This blue yarn is a Caron blossom cake. Caron blossom cake. And I think they said the color is blue orchid. I can't remember. Rachel knows, but this is really pretty. Again, this one just, if you have a blossom cake hanging out at your house, this is a great project for that. And I had some of these pom poms. I get these off the Zon, um, but really, really pretty. Oh, thank you so much, Mad Red. I appreciate it. Debbie, good morning. Welcome. Okay, friends. So here we are back to our little section of our brim. So I'm going to pop out my stitch marker. Now, this is telling me for the brim, April, you need to loosen up on your stitches. Let's see. Here we go. Um, Crochet That Rocks. I'm actually live on YouTube this morning, and you guys can go back and rewatch what I've been doing here this morning. But what I really recommend, this is a pattern by Briana K on YouTube, and it is called the Wheat Stitch Beanie. And it's a beautiful, beautiful pattern. Briana K is queen of the wheat stitch, y'all. If you have not followed her over on YouTube or introduced her to your little crochet community that you love to follow, y'all got to add her. I'm telling you, she is fabulous. So, Briana K, Briana, Briana K. on YouTube is who I'm following. Yes, Nash, she has a really cool sweater. So for those of you guys who've been watching my friend Rachel, who's been working on like it's like a sleeve shawl, I guess I could explain it, like a sleeve sweater. Um, I don't know what they're officially called, but she does one of those and it is amazing. It is so, so pretty. And it's with the wheat stitch and she's fabulous, y'all. I wouldn't say she wasn't if she I mean, I truly recommend her. I think she's great. Okay, so here we go. Why is this looking so weird here? Hang on, let me rewind this. Did I miss a stitch? Oh no, it just kind of got twisted here. Okay, here we go. Chain one. Now we're getting ready. We're ready to start our next wheat stitch section. Okay, so you can see here how our wheat stitch that we did earlier is framed in. We've got our little lines of texture here, and now we're ready to start the next. So once again, I'm going to work up the brim of the beanie here. Chain one, this chain one does not count. Okay, I'm going to work into the back loop and do a single crochet. Again, keeping these very loose. I need 9 of these for the brim. So let me count these: 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's pull this little black out of here. 8. Was that 9? I think so. And 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm putting in a stitch marker. This helps me to keep track of where this brim section is in relation to these wheat stitches. Okay. So now my friend Rachel A. Crochets has been making one. She's been doing a different pattern. Um, sorry, Gigi. I'm trying to keep up with the comments, friends, guys. If I miss anything, please just ping me again. Okay. I'm trying really hard to talk about stitches and answer all the questions. Thank you for your patience. Y'all are fabulous. I don't know and we have so many of the OGs and the mods that help to answer questions too. But for the size chart, guys, all I did was I went on Google and I put in crochet beanie size chart. That's all I did. Crochet beanie size chart. And there's a zillion of them. I just picked one and I printed it. My printer kind of chopped it off, but whatever. So it tells me all of the different sizes, and I use this size chart as a gauge for when I'm making these hats. Hey, Tony Ann, good morning. Welcome in. The yarn that I'm using this morning is Lion Brand Scarfie yarn. Leah, you're totally fine, sweetheart. No worries. No worries. We have a lot of people here to help out. We have a fabulous friend group and they help to answer questions too. Guys, like Leah is back to school. She's homeschooling the kids and stuff. So our mods, they help out, but all of you guys can help answer questions too. If you have the answer, it's totally fine. So Lion Brand Scarfie, this is the colorway pink silver. I got this from Lion Brand. It is 78% acrylic, 22% wool. It is a 5-weight yarn, and I am using a 6.5 millimeter, a K 10.5. Yes, Kay, that's right. Best mods on TikTok. We have a fabulous group. Look at that pink and silver. It's like grayish silver. It's so pretty. So, so pretty. Okay, so we're ready to start our wheat stitches here, guys. So what I'm going to do is we're going to be working under both loops for our wheat stitch section. I'm going to skip a stitch into the next stitch here. I'm going to do a single crochet. So slide my hook under both loops, single crochet. Now what we have to do is we have to come back and pick up this stitch that I missed right here. So you can kind of pull your work apart if you need to really kind of figure out where that stitch is. But you can see it kind of laying a little sideways here. So what I do is I yarn over. We're going to make a modified puff stitch. I slide my hook underneath those 2 loops all the way through my work. And I grab up a loop and I pull this up to the height of my other stitches. Now we need one more of those. I yarn over, go right back down in. So just like you're doing a puff stitch, pull up a second loop. So now we have our starting loop here on the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. So a total of 5. Yarn over, we're going to drag this loop underneath the first 4 stitches. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through the last 2. Okay, so this is like a modified puff stitch, and it makes it sit sideways because of how we're skipping that stitch. So skip this guy into the next, single crochet. Now, once again, we've got to come back, pick up this one that we missed. Yarn over, right down in, grab up our loop. Now we have 3, yarn over, right back down in once again. Pull up that second. Now we have 5 loops here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over, pull this one under the first 4, and then yarn over, pull through 2. Skip 1 into the next, single crochet. Come back, we're going to pick up this little guy that I skipped, yarn over all the way through, grab up that loop. Now we need one more, yarn over, right back down in, grab up another loop. Now we have a total of 5 loops. Yarn over, pull this guy through the first 4, and yarn over, pull through the last 2. This is called the wheat stitch. Scrolls, we have a bunch of left-handed crocheters here in the chat. Lots and lots of left-handers. Gen X, I think just a Gen X girl is left-handed. Gen X is left-handed. Lefty crocheter is left-handed. Lots of folks here. I can't even name them all off. There's so many. So you are in good company here, my friend. Lots of, oh, Leah is left-handed. Kelly Jane. So many people. I once did a poll. It was fascinating. I don't remember the stats of like how many people in the world, the ratio, the percentage of left-handed to right-handers is a certain percentage, right? We did a poll one time here on the live, and people said if they were left-handed or right-handed. The percentage of left-handed folks that were watching the live was way higher than the like national average. It was fascinating. I really had like a gut feeling that that's how it was, and it was really amazing. So anyhow, pretty cool. 2% of the world are left-handed. There you go. I knew somebody would have the stat. Thank you, Jane. Jane for the win this morning with the handy stats. So anyhow, we had a lot of left-handers. Yeah, it's very cool. So is there a locking stitch to lock the wheat stitches in place? I think kind of when we do that second, we're going to skip this one. Let me show you what I think is kind of the wheat stitch or the locking stitch. Single crochet in the second stitch. Come back and pick this one back up and do our modified puff. Yarn over, pull through 4, and then yarn over, pull through 2. This yarn over, pull through 2 is what I think is the what locks it in. Left-handed people tend to be more creative, so that makes sense. There you go. I agree with that too, Leah. So that's how it kind of locks it in, that little wheat stitch. Does that help? I do my very best, scrolls, to reply to the comments. I will say on days where I'm doing a lot of stitch talk, forgive me, I do miss some of the comments. Now, I will go back after the live and I read through all of the comments. Sometimes we have upwards of 1,200 comments on the live. And if I feel that I overlooked a comment or missed a comment, I will try to DM you and answer your question. We have a fabulous friend group here and a fabulous group of moderators, and they too will try to help answer the questions if I miss it. So I appreciate everybody's patience as I'm trying to talk through stitches. Walk and talk and chew gum at the same time, kind of thing. You know, my mom, she said, I don't know how you do it. I can't crochet and talk at the same time. So, um, Lori Loops, this is a wheat stitch beanie that we're making today. So we're making a little beanie. And right now I'm working the rows up until we the get through it. But it is called the Wheat Stitch Beanie, and it is by Briana K. This is a finished one I did over the weekend. So really pretty blue colors, and I put a little palm at the top. I'm going to enter this in the county fair. I love this pattern so much that I think it's really, really beautiful. And then what I did, I put a button on the inside, guys, so that way the palm is removable. So if you don't have a palm, not all beanies need a palm, right? But there's a blue one. Here is a green one that I made. I finished this one yesterday. This also is lion brand yarn. I don't know if this colorway is still available. And honestly, guys, I don't remember what it is called. But again, really pretty. This one I didn't put a pom pom on. I'm just going to leave it plain and donate it. And here is the very first one that I made. This one I used, I felt like, so this is Brianna K's actual pattern. And for me, I felt like this was too tall through here. And this one ended up being, this is a small beanie. It's 9 inches. So maybe it would have worked out if I had just made it bigger. I'm not really sure, but it felt like it was kind of too tall. So I kind of been modifying it a little bit. One thing I prefer more of the single crochets here at the top to give it more breathing room. See how this kind of is puffing up here? I prefer to have another single crochet there to help that kind of lay flatter here at the top. It's just a preference thing. But you could totally just follow her pattern too if you don't want to try to modify things. Also, the thing that I realized when I made this one, see how tight this is here at the bottom where my single crochets are? See when I stretch it, how it's really kind of tight? Whereas this one, it's not as tight, like, it has more give to it. So, be very cautious when you're working on your brim section here. Make sure you're making those stitches very loose rather than super tight. That way it doesn't get too tight, there on your brim. So that is this section down here, and kinda do a test as you go along. See how I can kinda pull this and it give has lots of, like, give to it? That's very important. This is the Wheat Stitch by Brianna K. It's called the Wheat Stitch Beanie. And you can find this on her YouTube. There's a tutorial. I think she also has a written pattern for this on her blog, her website. So feel free to check that out. This is not my pattern. This is Brianna K's. And I um I modified mine because I'm using a larger size hook. So hers call her she uses a 4 weight yarn, and I don't remember what her starting chain is. I want to say it was 49, but don't quote me. You'll have to watch the video. This is how I did mine. So my brim section here, this brim right here is 9 single crochets. Then I did 10 of the wheats. So I call them just the wheats. This right here, this section, you end up with 2 halves. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I did 10 of those. Every time you do a wheat stitch, it takes 2 single crochets. Okay, so for example, this pattern is basically, if you wanted to make a scarf of this, it's very easy. It's done in multiples of 2. So when I'm going to make a scarf later on, I've kind of noodled on this a little bit. I think what I'm going to do is do some single crochets, maybe like 4 single crochets. Then I'm going to do a whole bunch of wheat stitches till I get it to like 70 inches. And then on the other side, I'm going to do 4 single crochets. So basically, I would chain an even amount of stitches. Okay. And then I would add one for the turning chain. That's how I'm going to make my scarf. Because each wheat stitch, that is really hard to say, friends. It takes two uh yeah, I'm gonna make a hat and scarf set. I have more of this yarn. It takes two. Okay. So that's your multiples of two. But for this particular beanie, I chained 34. Then I added one for a total of 35. Then I'm going to do roughly 12 wheat rows. And what I mean by that, when you look at your hat, see how there's this group of wheats and then it skips over here to this wheats? Rather than try to count single crochet, wheat, wheat, four, I'm not going to sit here and count four, four, four. All I do is I'm going to do 12 of these sections. And when I get done with 12, measure it, right? So get my tape measure. It looks like this. As I'm working along, I'll fold it in half. It looks like this. And then I will get my tape measure out, put it across until I get it to the size that I want. This blue hook I did with this blue pattern I did with an I9. It's a different yarn. For the one that I'm using this morning, I'm using a K10.5, which is a 6.5 millimeter, which is why I had to modify the counts. But that's roughly it. Sorry for all the chicken scratch. I could write it nicer, but I had to test it all out. You can see I had to make changes 3 times. So I did 9 for the brim, 9 single crochets. Then I did 10 wheats, which is 20. So 9 plus 20 is 29. And then I did 5 for the top. 29 plus 5 is 34. And then I added 1 and I came up with 35. If you want your brim to be taller, thicker, this part, you would just add more chains in that section. Okay. Hey, Christy, good morning. So here we go back to our wheat stitch. Again, this is much easier than I thought it was going to be. Kim, the yarn that I'm using right now is Lion Brand Scarfie yarn. This is the colorway pink silver. And I bought this from Lion Brand. I think there's other places that sell this as well, but they have lots of colors and some of the other places don't always have it. Hey, Debbie, good morning. Um, get your coffee. Hey, Carrie, welcome in. Good morning. So anyhow, Lion Brand pink silver. This blue is a Caron blossom cake. If you have a blossom cake laying around and you don't have your Scarfie, it is fabulous, friends. It's nice and soft. It's really, really beautiful yarn. Wally World sells Lion Brand. There you go. Karina, thank you. It's really soft. This Scarfie yarn is 78% acrylic and 22% wool, and it has a very nice feel to it. Hey, Annie, good morning. Medea, welcome in. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it is beautiful colors. I really love this yarn. Okay, so last one here. Let's talk through how we're going to do our wheat stitch. So I'm going to skip one into the next. Under both loops, I'm doing a single crochet. Now this one that I skipped right here, we're going to do our wheat stitch, our modified puff. Yarn over, I'm going to go under both loops all the way through, grab up my loop. So now we have 3 and I pull this up kind of tall. Now I need another one, just like your puff stitch, yarn over, right back down through that same space, grab up your loop. Now we have 5 loops. Yarn over, I'm going to pull this loop under the first 4. And then yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, so there is our last of our little wheat stitches. Now I'm going to pop out my stitch marker. We're to the very tippy top of our hat. And for these, we have 5 single crochets here. In the first 4, I'm going to work a single crochet in the back loop only. So as you look at your stitches, the top of the stitch looks like a sideways V. This one that is away from me is called the back loop. This one that is facing me is called the front loop. We're going to skip this one and work only in the back loop. Miffy, I am a yarn under gal. So if you do a yarn over, that's totally fine. I do mine different than everybody else. So single crochet in the back loop only. Now, when I get to the very last stitch here, I like to go under both loops. Briana K, who made this pattern, she goes under the back loop only. Either way is totally acceptable. I prefer to go under both loops with my single crochet. Now I chain one, and we're going to turn our work. Okay, so this is what we're looking like now. So you can see here on this row below, right here, that is this row right here. So now we're ready to do this second side of the wheat stitch, and we're going to repeat exactly what we just did. Okay, so this chain of one I did does not count. Now I'm going to work in the back loop, single crochet, 5 stitches, because that is the height of mine. If you're following Briana K, you will hear hers is only 4. I prefer it with 5. I modified the pattern, okay? But if you're making your first one, my recommendation is go to Briana K's website or to her YouTube and just follow her tutorial. Okay, that's the easiest thing I can recommend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I pop in my stitch marker. This tells me where the very top of my beanie is. So I'm trying to keep myself organized here. Okay, now we're going to work the other side of our wheat stitch. So as we look at our stitches, we're going to be working under both loops of these. Okay, I'm going to skip the first stitch, and then I'm going to go under both loops and draw up a loop, yarn over, and pull through. So we're going to do a single crochet in the second. Now what we have to do is we have to come back and pick up this stitch that we missed. It's kind of hard to see. You can kind of pull your work apart and see where that stitch is if you need to. After you do a few of these, though, it's going to come very natural. You're going to be able to easily see this. So yarn over, I go down under those loops all the way through and pull up my loop. And I pull this up kind of tall. We're going to make a modified puff stitch. Then I yarn over, go right back down in, and grab up my loop. Now we have 5 loops. From here, we're going to yarn over. We're going to pull this yarn under the first 4, and then yarn over and pull through 2. The pulling through 2 is what locks it in. Now we're ready to start our next wheat stitch. So we're going to skip the first one, into the second, do your single crochet. Now, once again, we've got to come back, pick up this one that we missed, yarn over, go underneath both loops all the way through, grab up your loop, pull it up tall, yarn over, right back down in, pull up another loop. So now we have 5, yarn over, pull through the first 4, yarn over, pull through 2 to lock it in, move to the next, skip the first one, into the second, single crochet. Nikki, thank you so much for the hat and mustache. Appreciate you, my friend. Uh, and guys, this pattern by Briana K, my recommendation, if you want to make one of these, is to go watch her YouTube tutorial. Look on YouTube for Briana K, Brianak. She has lots of followers over there on TikTok. She'll pop right up. Okay. She also is on TikTok, Briana K. This stitch that I'm doing is called the wheat stitch, Annie. It's called the wheat stitch. And she has a fabulous tutorial of how to do this. I'm making her vertical beanie. She also released a pattern that is her horizontal beanie. It's brand new. And I do want to try that one as well. So skip one stitch, into the next, single crochet. Now we're going to do that wheat stitch. So this is a modified puff. There's our stitch that we're working under, okay? Yarn over, go right all the way through, grab up your loop. Now we have 3, yarn over, right back down in, and pull up a loop. So now we have a total of 5. Yarn over, pull through all 4, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2. Skip one, into the next, single crochet. See how that wheat is coming through? Really, really pretty. Vicky, have a great day. Thanks for being here. McHoot, for my beanie, I'm using a thicker yarn than Briana K does. Forgive the chicken scratch, but if you want to take a screenshot of this, I did for my brim 9 single crochets. So for this part right here, I did 9. Uh, this particular hat here is a different weight, but for this one I'm working on right now, I did 9 for my brim. Then I did 10 wheat stitches. Every time you do a wheat stitch, you need two single crochets. So 9 plus 10 times 2 is 20. We're at 29, and then I did 5 for the very top. So for my starting chain, I did 34 plus 1, a total of 35, and I'm going to be doing, I think, 12 wheat rows. So, again, this part right here, where's that? This section right here is 9 single crochets. Then we have 10 of our wheat stitches here. So I count a wheat stitch as this pair here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you need 2 single crochets for that. And then I did 5 here at the top. So this beanie is going to be about a 9-inch beanie, and it's going to have a brim on it that will fold up like this. Okay. So that's how I got to mine, 35. But I'm using a K 10.5, which is a 6.5 millimeter hook. On Briana K's, she is using a 4-weight yarn, and for mine, I think I used an I9 hook, and I just followed her guides what that were on her YouTube. Can you talk through this stitch one more time? Absolutely, absolutely, say. So I'm going to skip one into the next. I do a single crochet. Now what I have to do, you can kind of pull your work back a little bit here. This is the stitch that we skipped, if you can see it there. And this will become very obvious to you as you're working your stitches. As you do the first, after you do your first couple, you'll click and you'll get it. It did for me. Yarn over. I'm going to go under those 2 loops all the way through, grab up my loop. So now we have 3. Then I'm going to yarn over, go right back down in, and pull up another loop. Now I'm pulling these up tall so that they are about the size of my other stitches there. Oops, I missed this up right here. Hang on. Okay, let's try again. Skip one into the next, single crochet. Now here's that one that I skipped. Do you see it there hiding? So yarn over, go down into that space, grab up a loop. Again, pull that up kind of tall, and you're just going to hold that, yarn over, go right back down in, and grab up another. So it's like a modified puff stitch is really what it is. Now we have 5 loops on top. Yarn over, we're going to pull through the first 4, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2. So skip one into the next, single crochet. Here's that one I missed. See it there hiding? So yarn over, go all the way through, grab up my loop, pull it up, holding, yarn over again, right back down through that same space, and pull that up again. Now we have 5. Yarn over, pull through the first 4, and yarn over and pull through 2. Skip one into the next, single crochet. Again, there's that one that we're looking to go under, the one we skipped. Yarn over, go right down through all the way, grab up your loop, pull it up nice and tall, yarn over, right back down in. We do this twice, okay? So we have a total of 5 loops. Yarn over, pull this loop under the first 4, and now yarn over, pull through the last 2. That's what kind of locks in your puff stitch or your wheat stitch. Skip one into the next, single crochet. Now again, there's that one we're looking to pick back up. Whoa, Nikki, thank you for the live. Wow, that was amazing. Such a pretty blue, too. Terry said, yes, it's a pretty stitch when it's loose. Yeah, you want your beanies to be kind of loose. You don't want to have beanies too tight. At least I don't. It will like give me a headache and make my head hurt. So you need to have some like stretch to this, right? So that's what I do. Does that help with the wheat stitch, guys? So raise your hand. I was totally daunted by this stitch, and I have avoided it because I really thought it would be much harder than it is. And after I watched her tutorial and just sat down and did it, I was like, oh, I can do this. I can do this. This is not that bad. Why was I thinking this was going to be so hard? I, I, I created all this self doubt in my. I have to stop doing that to myself. It is such a pretty stitch. And it's real. I mean, I make puff stitches all the time. So I don't know why in my mind I was overcomplicating it. It's really nice. Hey, April, good morning. Welcome in. I know the wheat stitch is so pretty. There, Sarah. Sarah, I was saying earlier, you made the horizontal her new pattern, and it turned out so pretty. So pretty. Thank you for sharing that picture on the Discord. I really want to try that one also. The yarn I'm using today, friends, is called Lion Brand Scarfie. Lion Brand Scarfie yarn. This is the colorway pink silver. Isn't it pretty? Look at that. I got this from Lion Brand on their Labor Day sale. I got I actually purchased 11 different colors. But I know y'all just cringe because you're like, oh my gosh, 11 different. But what I wanted to do is my intent here. It's like it was like 60 degrees here in Alabama this morning. It's starting to feel like sweater weather, right? And so I want to make these beanies, but I also want to make a scarf to go with it. And then what I want to do is I want to find a women's shelter and I want to donate a hat and scarf set to the women's shelter for winter. So I need to find a place that's up north where you actually get like snowy weather and stuff. And I just need to do a little research. I'm in a very small town. I do not have any women's shelters that I know of around me. Um, I could possibly look maybe over in Huntsville, but I would love to find like a larger sized women's shelter where I could like send these consistently. And so that's kind of what my thought was. So, of those 11 colors, I bought 3 skeins of each. And I think it's going to be enough to make a wheat stitch scarf and a wheat stitch beanie to be able to send to the women's shelter. So that's what's rolling around in my brain. For those of you that don't know, my name is April. I'm a hobby crocheter. I pretty much give everything to for donation. I really don't um, like sell my stuff. I shouldn't say I really don't. I don't. I don't sell my stuff. I just try to give back to the community. I make baby blankets. I make wheelchair size blankets. I made probably 50 beanies to go up to Launchpad in Nashville. They are an rescue shelter for LBGTQIA from 18 to 25-year olds. And I need to get those boxes sent out. I made a few blankets, but a lot of beanies. I made some bucket hats to go there. And so, anyhow, these scarves, though, to me, um, and I could be totally off base here, but the wheat stitch feels very feminine to me. And with when I do these like delicate colors like this, um, I just think it would be really nice to send to a women's shelter. That's what's kind of like calling to me. So that's kind of what I'm, thinking about doing and kind of what I've got in my plans. Now I'm getting ready to start another batch of wheelchair blankets. I'm going to be starting a new wheelchair blanket tomorrow on the live. I still am making some beanies also for Launchpad. So Thursday we might make another beanie. Because I want to get that box sent off this weekend. But if I can fit one more or two more beanies in it, that would be great. So, and then I need to get a uh, account on it. Great question, Pam. Will Scarfie yarn make two hats? So I made the green and black Scarfie over the weekend. I finished it yesterday. And I used the same counts as I'm using right now for this. So I'm using a 6.5 millimeter hook. And this is how much yarn I have left over from that. I think there is enough to do a second beanie. And I will be testing that. I I'm pretty sure um I'm pretty sure there's enough for a second. Oh, Carrie, thank you so much. Carrie said I put 3 shelters in Alabama in the Discord. I don't know if they're close to you, but it's a start. Oh, nice. I'll definitely check them out. Uh I can ask them if I know of a women's shelter. Yeah, I just want to find a women's shelter. And like I said, I haven't even done any research yet to know if there's one near me. There might be some up in Tennessee, which would be close to me, also, guys. Tennessee is very close, or over in Georgia, but it has to be like the northern part of Alabama because down south there it's too warm. There's no point in sending a scarf and beanie down there. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Um, Lou says, I know really great people who work with young people in foster care in Alabama. Oh, Lou, that is nice. That is nice. I love the alpine stitch too. I don't know if I've made the alpine stitch, Mitra. I'll have to look at that. Must be in the name because I do the same shelters, vets, assisted living, and teen homes. Oh, yeah. I do veterans blankets too, April. My dad was, oh, my stitch marker just came out. My dad was in the army, and that's what one of my projects for this year is making uh, veterans blankets. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. One more. That whole thing came out. I don't know what I was doing. I think fiber artists in general have huge hearts. Okay, so friends, for the beanie, I did 9 single crochets and I did those in the back loop only. Make sure when you're on the brim of your beanie, you're keeping your stitches very loose. Otherwise, what will happen is on the brim, see how this one like kind of is tapering in here? I don't know if you can see that on the screen. It's hard to tell. I should have made these stitches bigger. Okay, my single crochets, I got them too tight. This was the very first one I ever made. So make sure as you're doing these, give it the old stretch test, as I like to call it. Okay, so make sure the brim here, as you are pulling out your wheat stitches, make sure this is pulling out to the same amount. That way, when you fold it up, you're going to have some like wiggle room there and it's not going to like taper in. Okay, so be very, very careful when you're doing that. Brianne, good morning. Welcome in. Anna, good morning. Karen is here. Good morning. Rika, thank you so much for being here. Hey, Viv, good morning. Welcome in, y'all. We're making a beanie this morning. We're making the wheat stitch beanie. And this is a new pattern I just started over the weekend. The Wheat Stitch Beanie is by Briana K over on YouTube. She is absolutely fabulous. Really, really pretty stitch. She has an amazing tutorial. So definitely feel free to check her out. It's Briana K, Briana K. And she is the Wheat Stitch Queen. That's what I call her anyway. Amanda, good morning. Welcome in. Vicky said, I can't wait to make these for my daughter and nieces, right? Wouldn't they make a great Christmas gift if you're up in cold weather country? So we've done our 2 wheat stitches. Okay. So now we're to the single crochet part. For my brim, I do my 9 single crochets in the back loop only. Once I get here to where I did the wheat stitches, I like to go under both loops for this first go round. So I'm putting my hook under both loops and I'm doing a single crochet. Now, as I'm working these stitches in the wheat area, I am making them smaller. Okay. So can you see? I'm doing them basically what I would do normal size. So see how these stitches down here are larger and these are back to my normal size. This helps me to keep the center of my beanie through here the same width as this down here. So I'm exaggerating these and I'm doing these normal size. And that is really helping to keep like that consistency throughout. So that is kind of the trick that I found is helping me with keeping these in a really nice shape so that they're not like bowing. Jules, I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much. Hey, Shauna, good morning. Welcome in. This morning, guys, I'm using Scarfie Lion Brand yarn, Lion Brand Scarfie, and this is the colorway pink silver that we're doing. This yarn is a 5 bulky weight yarn. So Brianna K, when she does her tutorial, she's doing it with a 4 weight yarn. I'm having to modify this pattern so that we can make the stitches work, and I'm using a K 10.5, which is a 6.5 millimeter hook. So I'm following the directions on the yarn, and I modified my counts of how to do the stitches. This yarn is 78% acrylic, 22% wool. I got this directly from Lion Brand on the Labor Day sale. However, there are other retailers. Wally World sells it, and it's a very beautiful yarn. I've made other scarves with it. It's soft. It's really pretty. I love a 5 bulky for hats and scarves. I just feel like it works up quicker because I'm using a larger size hook. Um, Ileana, it is soft. It is soft. A lot of times wool can be really scratchy. You can definitely tell it has wool in it, but it doesn't feel like tree bark, okay? It's soft. It kind of has some haloing on it, which just gives it that really pretty look. And I have lots of colorways in this, guys. We're going to be making a lot of these projects. So I've worked up the side where my wheat stitches are here. Now I'm to the very top of my beanie. And I have 5 single crochets for the crown on my beanie. Brianna K only has 4 on hers. Like I said, I did modify this. Puzzle Premier is really nice for hat and scarves. I love Premier yarns. They are definitely one of my favorite yarn companies. Okay, so as I do these, I'm going to work a single crochet in the back loop only until I get to the very last stitch. I like to go under both loops. It's just something that I do. Brianna K goes under just the back loop. You could do that as well, but I like going under both. Chain 1, and now I'm ready to turn my work. So we're basically doing 2 of the wheat stitches and 2 of the single crochets. For this second row of single crochets, I'm going to work the entire thing in the back loop only. Catherine, this yarn I'm using today is a 5-weight yarn. It's a bulky 5-weight. So once again, the chain that I made does not count into my first stitch, single crochet in the back loop, and I'm working that all the way down. Now, remember, you're skipping that front loop, and that front loop that you're leaving behind is what is giving it this line of texture here. So as you look at your crochet stitches, it looks like a sideways V. See how it looks like a sideways V? Normally, when we do stitches, we go under both of these loops. In this case, I'm skipping the front loop. This one that is facing me is always called the front loop. This one that is away from me is called the back loop. So I'm only working in that stitch that is to the back of me. So now I'm working in the back loop, single crochet, and again, we're working that the entire way down. Now, as I do my first 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I want to pop in my stitch marker. That's how I'm keeping track of where the top of my beanie is, where the wheat stitch is, and then I have another stitch marker here to indicate my brim. Um, Yes, wheat stitch ear warmer. That is the other thing that is on my list as well, is the wheat stitch ear warmer. And I don't know if Brianna K has a tutorial of this, but I will tell you, since Saturday, I have learned enough about this stitch. I feel totally comfortable making a wheat stitch ear warmer on my own. I don't even really need a pattern or a guide. So that will be on our agenda as well. But I definitely want to make a scarf also. So my plan is to make a beanie and scarf set for donation. So I have more of this pink silver, and then I need to do my little scarf. And yeah, I'm super excited on this new little project. I'm excited tomorrow to start another wheelchair blanket as well. I've kind of taken a hiatus from those because I've been working on my county fair stuff. So let's do a quick county fair rundown. Y'all want to do that? Um, this is where I'm at. So I've kind of put some check marks here as to where I'm at. The baby Afghan is done. The Afghan is still in the works. I figure at this point I have like another month, so I'll be really focusing on that. However, I don't know how much I'm going to be working on it on the live. It's gotten really big. It's hard for me to move around. It is kind of challenging, but we'll play that by ear. Class 24 is the baby item not otherwise listed. The cardigan that I did, that is done. The hat and bonnet, I was originally going to do a bucket hat. Instead, I'm putting this blue hat in the county fair. I made the executive decision. I love how that hat turned out. I love the color. It feels wintry to me. And so that is going to be class 30. That is done now. Holiday item, I was originally going to do a snowman amigurumi. Scratch that. I did the pumpkin trio over the weekend by Briana K, the wheat stitch pumpkins. I just have to get the floral picks, but as far as crocheting, that little guy is done also. The class 34 scarf is the red one we did at Valentine's Day. That is done. Class 35 sweater is the hexagon cardigan that I did the study of snow. That is done. Class 37 is the bag. We need to work on that in the next couple weeks. We need to do the straps. The entire bag is finished. We just have the straps. And class 38 is the pillow, and that is finished. So, of the 9 entries that I want to make for the county fair, the only thing I have left to do is the straps on the bag and my Afghan. And the floral picks for the pumpkin trio. But that's a minute and two, there's not a whole lot to do there. So I really feel like I'm in the home stretch. My entry date is the 11th and 12th of October, and I think we have about a month right now. So that's where I'm at for my county fair entries to give you all the rundown. And sorry, while I was doing that, I missed some comments. This is the wheat stitch that we're working on this morning. The wheat stitch. Jenny Bunny, the size that I do for my wheelchair blankets is 35 by 45. Many shelters don't want scarves, they prefer cowls. I don't know if I'm talented enough to make a cowl. Do they just get sewn together? Is that what it does? You make like a scarf and then you sew it together on one side? I'm not really sure. I'd have to research that. I really want to make a scarf though. Hey, Brooke, good morning. Welcome in. Can you use a ran yarn? I don't know why you couldn't, Firestar. That should work fine. Um, I think you could make any 4 or 5 weight. That's what you do with yours. Okay, so you just make a scarf and then sew it together so it's like a big loop. Is that under? Am I understanding it correctly? Can you see the pumpkin trio when you're all done, please? I don't know if I can reach the pumpkin trio. Hang on, let me see here. Maybe if I let me put you up 1 second. Hang on, I gotta lift way up. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. I gotta go to work too, guys. I gotta go to work a little early. I'm gonna lift you all out of your cradle here, and I'll show you my pumpkin trio. So give me 1 second here. I think it turned out really cute. Now, once again, guys, I'm gonna lift my phone, everybody. Okay, lifting my phone. Okay, here is my pumpkin trio. And sorry, YouTube friends. I'll try to turn it sideways so you can. I actually had, so I've been wanting to make this for a while, and last year, y'all are gonna think I'm crazy, but I saved my pumpkin stems from last year. I have 2 of them, and so again, this is Brianna K's pattern. It is the wheat stitch pumpkin trio, and the very bottom is uh, I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby. Yes, it would work for a blanket. She has a tutorial for a blanket as well. Hang on, I'm getting this. I don't remember what color it is. So I use this. I love this. Oh, burnt pumpkin is what the bottom is. Burnt pumpkin. I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby. Okay, I love this yarn. The middle pumpkin right here. Sorry, I'm like moving my phone all around, y'all. The middle pumpkin right here for the single crochets right here, I did the same burnt pumpkin. And then for this variegated, see how it changes? I just let it flow for those. And that yarn is also, I love this yarn in the, is it autumn or I think it's called autumn stripe? Is it autumn stripe? I think that's what it's called, autumn stripe. And then I don't have it next to me here anymore. Oh, yes, I do. Here it is. Never mind. We can look. Timber. Yeah, autumn stripe. Autumn stripe for the center. with the pumpkin color. And then for the very top, for the single crochets, I did the autumn stripe for the single crochets. Then for the green right here, I did dark olive. I didn't have any of the light sage, but I did the dark olive. So that is how that turned out. So anyhow, what I want to do now is I need to go to the 99-cent store and get the floral picks. I want to put like some decorative like leaves and stuffs kind of around these center things. And so that is going to be my uh, for the county fair entry holiday item. I think it looks like a holiday, right? It feels like Thanksgiving. Okay, let me put my phone back in the cradle, guys. Anyhow, I'm sure I'll have pictures and a video of that coming soon. YouTubers, let me lift you up here so I can kind of try to show you the pumpkin. It's hard, but maybe you can see it there over on YouTube if I kind of tip it down and sideways. It's hard to see. It's kind of a tall thing, but it's not super huge, this pumpkin. It's the stack, and I just followed her. It works out to be 12 inches. So it's not really huge. It's a perfect size for decoration. So the bottom pumpkin ended up being 9 inches in diameter. Um, and yeah, I think it turned out really cute. I missed a whole group of comments, guys, there. So let me move this to the side. Ugh, and get my lap back. Okay. And I've got yarn wrapped up around me. And let me try to get this phone situated again. So the color difference between YouTube and TikTok. Yeah, I don't know why it does that, Gen X girl. It's really odd the way that it does that. I'm using two iPhones. I'm using a 14 is the YouTube, and I'm using a 16 for TikTok. So I'm using my newer phone for TikTok. But honestly, like I don't know why there's such a big color difference. Um, so how I attach them together. Sorry, I can't see these comments. I gotta get readjusted here. I still can't see that. Let's see if I can tip this down a little bit. How I attach them together is I actually took my yarn and sewed it up through them and joined them that way. So when I finished each of my pumpkins, I left the long tail from where I sewed it together. I left very long. Even on this one, I leave a long tail. See how long this tail is? Because I'm going to use this to join my hat together. So that's how I do that, is just leave yourself a very long tail. Um, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this back adjusted so I can see stuff. I just wanted to finish this row. And then, guys, I'm going to have to sign off and go to work. But I hope this today has inspired you to maybe try the wheat stitch. For some of you, I know we have some beginners. You might not feel quite comfortable with it yet, but it's definitely worth like checking it out and maybe adding it to your list for potential down the road project. Right now, everybody is making pumpkins because we've got fall coming. And so that's always really exciting to me. I love different season changes and stuff. And the blanket we're going to be making tomorrow is also going to be in fall colors. And um, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready for those leaves to start changing and everything to start looking really cool. And I love the red and yellow leaves that we get here in Arizona, where I lived in Phoenix. We didn't really have a fall season. Now the weather would cool down, but I don't remember like, the leaves changing or anything. It never got cold enough to do that. Trudy, I come on at 7:30 Central Time in the morning. So I'll be here tomorrow. We're gonna start a new blanket. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. I just want to get this to a place where I can kind of uh, close this off and stop my project here and then wrap up so I can go back to work. But anyhow, yeah, I feel like the fall leaves and stuff are changing, are going to start changing here, and I'm super excited. So, anyhow, I hope y'all have enjoyed today. I hope it's inspired you to maybe try the wheat stitch. At least go watch Briana K's video, y'all, because I think you would love it. She has the blanket, she has the sweater, she has um, the pumpkin trio. The pumpkin trio, you could do an individual pumpkin as well. Maybe you're not ready for it. Maybe you're thinking next year. If you get pumpkins for the kiddos or you get pumpkins to decorate around your house, plan ahead like I did and save your pumpkin stem, and then you'll have it for next year when you're ready to make the pumpkin. Or you can use a cinnamon stick. A lot of people do the cinnamon stick as well. But anyhow, I was really glad that I had already looked at it last year and I was like, I'm definitely going to make this at some point. So I saved my pumpkin stems and it worked perfect. So anyhow, y'all have a wonderful day. Thanks for hanging out. And thanks for all of the screen taps. We're at almost 80,000. Thank you all so much. Thank you to all the mods who have helped out. Thank you for all the gifts and all our subscribers. Subscribers for the month of September, I'm kind of waiting until we all see what happens on the 15th with the subscriptions. Okay. So we're kind of in a holding pattern. We're definitely going to do something for September. I just don't know what yet because I don't know how all that's going to play out. So we'll definitely do something. But I hope you all have a great week. I hope to see you tomorrow. Thanks again for everything. Bye for now.